using violence, intimidation.
Yeah, or just constantly marking certain groups as lesser than.
As tools, basically. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going deep into a really significant book. Isabel Wilkerson's Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents.
Yeah, it's quite something.
Our mission today really is to unpack her main argument. It's pretty provocative, actually. She argues that underneath all the things we usually talk about, like race and class, there's this hidden social structure shaping society, especially in the U.S.
That's really the heart of it. Wilkerson's saying it's not just about, individual prejudice here and there.
Right.
It's about a fixed, really rigid social order, a caste system. And in this system, you're basically assigned a rank just by being born.
Just birth. Doesn't matter what you do later.
Exactly. That rank you inherit, it shapes your opportunities, your social standing, how people treat you, your whole life, basically.
Yeah.
Regardless of your own efforts.
And what really makes you sit up and think, maybe feel a bit unsettled, are the parallels she draws. They're quite stark.
Oh, definitely.
She doesn't limit it to American history. She pulls in India's historical caste system and, the hierarchy the Nazis imposed in Germany.
And comparing those, it's powerful. She makes this case that caste isn't unique to one place. It's a kind of a universal human problem.
A human ill, I think she calls it.
Yes. And understanding that is key, she argues, to really seeing how deep inequality runs, how structural it is.
And she lays out how these systems stay in place. She calls them the 8 pillars of caste.
Right, the pillars. And these aren't just ideas. They're like the active mechanisms keeping the hierarchy going.
Like heredity, yeah. The idea that your status is just locked in by who your parents were.
Exactly. Or endogamy, that pressure, sometimes even rules, forcing people to marry inside their own group.
To keep the lines pure.
To maintain that caste boundary.
Yeah.
It wasn't just social pressure. Sometimes it was actual law preventing marriage across these lines.
And she talks about other pillars too, like terror and stigma, using violence, intimidation.
Yeah, or just constantly marking certain groups as lesser than.
As tools, basically, to police the system. Keep everyone in their assigned box. You see it historically with things like Jim Crow or mob violence.
Right, all reinforcing that hierarchy. What Wilkerson does so well is show how these pillars get embedded. They're in the laws about where you could live, where you could go to school.
Economic stuff too, like redlining.
Absolutely. And even just in the subtle day-to-day interactions, the cues about who belongs where. She uses history, research, personal stories.
It really drives home how caste affects access to everything: healthcare, education, justice.
Even your own sense of what's possible for you.
And a crucial point she makes is that this system, this fixed ranking, it actually harms everyone.
Yes, that's so important. Obviously, those at the bottom suffer the most direct oppression, brutality.
But of course.
But the whole society is diminished. It creates division, fear, mistrust.
Yeah.
You lose out on the potential of so many people.
It limits everyone, in a way.
Exactly. So if we boil down Wilkerson's argument from the book, caste is this fundamental, fixed social order. It's actively enforced by these pillars. It's embedded in our systems and norms. It affects everyone. And it needs, real effort to confront.
So what's the way forward, according to Wilkerson? What's the antidote?
She talks about radical empathy.
Radical empathy, what does that mean in practice?
It's this call for a really deep, active effort to see and understand what life is like for people different from ourselves, especially across these sort of caste lines we perceive.
We're really listening, connecting.
Yeah, building bridges as a way to start breaking down the walls that the caste system builds.
Understanding this whole concept of caste, then, it seems essential if you want to see inequality and society really differently.
It definitely pushes you to look past just individual acts, individual bias.
And see the underlying structures, the invisible architecture almost.
Right, the forces that are constantly at play.
Which leaves us with something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. If you start consciously looking for this often unseen structure of caste, how might that change how you see things playing out in the world?
How might it change how you view the systems you interact with every day?
Or even your own experiences and relationships. Something to think about.
Grab Caste, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson, now on sale for $13.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now, today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.